Breaking news, it's just been revealed by David Ornstein of The Athletic that West Ham United have agreed a deal with Spurs for Mohammed Kudus, a fee in the region of £55 million. Mohammed Kudus will be having his medical with Spurs tomorrow, which is Thursday. A deal that we perhaps expected to go through, as Spurs were the only real serious bidders for Mohammed Kudus. But West Ham United have an £85 million release clause in his contract, and also publicly let it be known via leaks that we wanted 65 million, but we've now agreed a deal at 55 million. Earlier this week, West Ham United told people they'd laughed at Tottenham. Tottenham made a bid of 50 million, and apparently David Sullivan told Daniel Levy to get real, that he laughed it off. Well, £5 million later, 5 days later, and we've accepted a deal from Spurs for Mohammed Kudus. Very, very, very reliable source in this one, David Ornstein. I think he's the best when it comes to football news, when it comes to transfer news. I think he is the number one person. So I'm fully believing what David Ornstein is reporting here. This isn't being reported by an outlet which doesn't have a great track record. This is someone that I consider to be incredibly reliable. 6-year contract as well. So it's not just that he's reporting a deal's done. The finer details are being reported too. Medical tomorrow, 6-year contract with Spurs. That's what I'm going to be discussing over the next 5 minutes. I'm going to take some comments in the live chat as well. But if you're new to Hammers Chat, please do subscribe, and also do drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up button. Get 1,000 likes, that'd be much appreciated. It helps the channel out quite a lot, and I need a bit of cheering up, to be honest with you, in regards to this news. And also, we've got a sale on at the minute, hammerschatstore.com, closing down sale, one section, everything must go. We're making a loss on some items. Go have a look, there might be something you like. Right, Kudus to Spurs. I think we've caved way too soon. I think we've given into this one way too early, way too soon. To leak that we laughed at Tottenham's £50 million bid and then accept 55 million not even a week later. Speaking of weak in terms of days, we're now let's switch it to terms of strength. That's weak negotiating. This club, David Sullivan and Karen Brady, those responsible for negotiating this deal, have been completely done over by Daniel Levy. And this is why I always believe Tottenham could get him, because people would say Levy won't deal with West Ham United. Well, he will if he thinks he's getting a good deal. If he's seeing this as pulling West Ham's pants down, that's what's happened here. He's done Brady and Sullivan up like an absolute kipper. And we all seen it coming. We all seen this coming. To only get 55 million for Kudus, I think is poor. I think it's really poor. We haven't even given, I don't think we've given enough chances to other teams. Now, they might know more. They might know that Chelsea have absolutely zero interest. But when what we're told, that once Chelsea sign Madueke and offload a couple of other players, they will be coming back in for Kudus. And it feels like we wanted a bidding war. And then when the first person fired their pistol, we've panicked and gone, yeah, right, we'll have that. We've not even waited for a bidding war to play out. I just feel like we've caved way, way, way too easily on this one. And she'll sit on a Sky Sports podcast bragging about her negotiating skills, which has led to a disaster of a contract with the London Stadium, which has had problem after problem after problem for West Ham United. And then she'll sit there and say, oh, take it or leave it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think you're not chalking this one up as a good win, in my opinion. Yes, West Ham will make about a £20 million profit on the player. We don't really make profits. There was a list doing the rounds earlier this week about how we made a profit on 5 players in 10 years. It's not good. We're not good at selling players. But I think just because you make a profit on a player doesn't necessarily mean it's a good sale. I think we've made profit, factual, but I feel like it's a little bit less than I would have liked. I think 65 million was the fee I would have stomached. And my prediction was 60, 65, because I didn't even have faith in them getting up to the leaked amount of 65 million. 55 million. It feels low. But this is what happens when you tell everyone you're desperate. This is what happened. Well, they didn't tell everyone you're desperate. But when you tell everyone you're skint and everyone can smell the desperation, this is what happens. People rock up looking to take advantage. And I think that's what Spurs are doing here. But because we're so desperate for money, because we're so desperate for a sale and we've been unable to offload other players. Had West Ham sold Nathan Gerd by this point, so let's just say we got 15, 20 million for Gerd, it would have allowed us to be a little bit stronger in these negotiations. Had we moved on Emerson for 8 million as well as a Gerd, you'd be able to go eyeball to eyeball with Spurs and say, no, he's 65 million. But because we've been unable to sell anyone else, and we keep getting told we have to sell before we buy, and I've never bought into it until the last week, 2 weeks, I've started thinking, bloody hell, we really do have to sell before we can buy now. This just proves it. This sale, I think, proves that we really do have to move players on before we can bring anyone in, because the Slavia Prague chairman practically outed West Ham and said, we've rejected 2 bids, £70 million, or you ain't getting him. Now, the good thing with this Kudus sale, bear with me, the good thing is, hopefully, it means that we can now offer what we want for Doof and we can get that deal done and we can start getting the ball rolling on transfers. However, just because you sign Doof, and you're allowed to be happy with that, but also be unhappy with this sale. This is, I think, Tottenham, if any Spurs fans are listening, I think Kudus will be a success at Spurs. And I think this is why I'm against it. I feel quite confident Thomas Frank will make Kudus a very, very good player. He's not been played correctly at West Ham, and I think Thomas Frank will play him correctly. I think they will get a fantastic player out of him. And 55 million, I think, might seem cheap in 12, 24 months' time. You might look back and think, oh, actually, Tottenham got the better of the deal there. I'm not too happy. Right, I'm going to turn to the live chat. Thank you very much for joining me. Get your thoughts into the live chat for the next 5-10 minutes, and we'll see what the Hammers Chat subscribers are saying in regards to this one. Alan saying, I can't believe this. Only thing I hope is that this will prove to be the final piece in their downfall in regards to the ownership. We need to get rid of them, not Kudus to Spurs for a bargain price. This is ridiculous. Ian's saying, as long as it's not including add-ons and coming off a poor season, it's not bad. There are no add-ons reported. I will say, Ian, it does say a fee in the region of 55 million rather than, it doesn't suggest that it's, usually the Athletic in particular are very accurate with their reporting for the majority. I'll take Simon Adringa, who is going from Brighton to Sunderland, as an example, because that's happening today. They are reporting it's 18 million plus a potential 2.5 million of add-ons. And you look at Anthony Langa going to going to Newcastle from Forest, the reporting around that. The Athletic are usually quite fine with the finer details. And for Kudus, that's absent. It's just a fee in the region of 55 million. So there might be clauses and add-ons, but it's not been reported at this point. Ryan saying it's a joke. People need to start protesting again. I'm not happy about Kudus going to Tottenham. Saying we only want Spurs, we'd be mugged right off. Daniel Levy will be laughing. DC saying Potter has to take his share of the blame for not getting a tune out of him. We're in trouble next season. Lewis saying, I'm not even mad at Kudus for joining Tottenham. It's a step up in his career. The sooner those 2 clowns are gone from this club, the better. Daniel Levy's pulled Sullivan's pants down. I would just like to add, actually, just to take Louise's point here, I also agree with what he's saying in regards to Kudus. I've got nothing against Kudus. I appreciate a lot of people, and he's had that nickname, Mohammed Kudus, in the last few days. It's not something I subscribe to. Football is his work. West Ham is a place of employment. He's been offered a better employment elsewhere. But also, even putting all that to one side, since April, West Ham were putting as much leaks out there as possible. We want to sell Kudus. We have to sell Kudus. We've been pimping this guy out for months. So to then expect him to be West Ham till I die, I don't think you can have it like that. Well, loyalty works both ways. And I don't think we've shown much to him over the last few months. We've made it very clear we want to sell him. And the board are getting what they wanted. They wanted to sell Mohammed Kudus, and they didn't care who they sold him to. My issues with them, no, Kudus, I've got absolutely zero disappointment or anger towards Mohammed Kudus. None at all. I would usually wish him the best of luck, but I can't because he's going to Spurs. But if this was happening and Kudus was going to Newcastle for 55 million, I'd wish him the best of luck going up there. He's done nothing wrong in my eyes, personally. Liam saying, Kudus played like a 20, 30 million pound player last season. He had a crap season. Was never going to get more than 60. And Beaumont and Cunha are miles better than him. And we won't get much more than 55 million. James is saying it's disgraceful. Dunk is saying, on the bright side, 75% of the fee will be reinvested. For those listening, there is a an emoji to suggest there's a hint of sarcasm in Dunk's phrase there. Edward saying we better sign some decent players with that money, or is it going to be uproar? That's the one thing I will say. I think we will get some players in now. G is saying with a shruggy emoji to suggest he's okay, which is 55 million for a player who scored 5 goals. MJ is saying, do we know if it's spread over years or an upfront payment? It'll be both. I think most transfers, I think I used to get a little bit of, I used to get worked up, I think, with the whole spread over years and stuff. But that's when I didn't know much about how transfers were done. So, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I used to get a bit annoyed, and I still make the joke. I'm still okay taking the piss that we'll offer £1 for a certain player, and West Ham want us to renew. Oh, will they take £100 a year for the next 4 years from a season ticket? Like, I'm all for a bit of humour. But in terms of payment structure around transfers, it's very, very normal, and most transfers are done with a upfront fee with the rest spread over numerous years. So I'm fine with it. This is where negotiations get even more important. It's all very well agreeing a fee of 55 million with Spurs, but what is that? Are we getting 20 million now and 35 million spread up over the next 4 years? Are we getting 30 million now? Are we getting, I don't think we'll get any more than that, but hypothetically, are we getting 40 million now? What is it? Because what happens if it's only 50 million now and the rest is spread up over the next 4 years? It's all of a sudden, cash flow wise, not that great, is it? It disappears over 2 transfers. But if you're getting 30 of it now, for example, you might be able, because of how payments, the structure of transfers work for incomings as well as outgoings, you might find yourself being able to get 3 players in with that lump sum. Does that make sense? So say hypothetically, we got 25 million for Kudus now and 30 million spread over the next 3 years or something. At that 25 million, you might be able to go get 3 £20 million players, but you use that 25 million as the initial payments and the rest spread up over years as well. I think I've explained it well. I hope it makes sense, but it depends. MJ, I don't know. We'll never really know how it works. Greg saying, gutted. I feel like if we let Kudus have freedom in the middle this season and value would only increase. Mackie Bick saying, doesn't want to be here. Glad to never have to watch him again. Infuriating player to watch recently. He's lazy, arrogant, and selfish. Will be much better without him. James is saying a lower priced and to bigger rival. Sullivan has got this one completely wrong, and he's looking forward to the championship. Jamie says he feels the same in regards to myself with Kudus, which is the board made it clear they want to sell him. Let's see what caliber of player we replace him with. That's the next big question, really, isn't it? Daniel saying this is ridiculous. We should not have accepted anything under 65. And the fact is we're thinning a squad and only going to bring in 1 to 3 players max. I think we'll bring in more than that personally, Daniel. I understand your frustration and concern. I have concern, but I think we'll bring in, 4 or 5 players maybe. But I think there's more departures still to come. Ian saying it's a joke. Why do we let owners who have no idea what players are required and have no idea of bargaining? Callum saying it's well and good, saying nothing against Kudus until he scores against us and kisses their badge. Going to be sickening seeing him. Well, I have an issue if he does that, maybe. But at this point, I have nothing against him, Callum. CB saying hopefully he'll struggle at Spurs like he did last season. Odds on for that. Steve saying this transfer highlights how poor our club is managed. Except Kudus wanted out. How well are we going to use the 55? Percy said he's really gutted. Massive talent that has been misused. Makes it worse that he's off to Spurs on the cheap. James is saying Sullivan's genius tactics of letting everyone know how desperate we are for money has worked as well. Clout Booze, Nick is saying strange that Sean Whetstone's just reported that we have a 40 million bank loan to pay back by the 15. So what does that mean? We have 50 million to spend. That's a different conversation, Nick. I appreciate you being skeptical, however. Stephen saying we never really got a chance to play in his best position because Bowen's our right winger. I'd like more money, but that's not my decision. I also think that the right-hand side is his best position, which may not be good for Brennan Johnson at Spurs. Ryan saying I expected him to leave, but he knows we're rivals with Tottenham. I understand it's his job, but Sullivan will have blood on his hands if the transfer window doesn't go well. Jeff saying he's done. Terry saying he's clearly only here for a year or two to move on and make profit. Only annoying thing is how it's been handled our end and where he's going. Do you know something? I agree with it, Terry. I think that's a very measured and calm statement. I agree. I think it's when he came in, it did feel relatively short term, and that we'd be looking to, or he'd be looking to move on, and we'd be looking to cash in on it. And like you said, the issue isn't the fact that he's looking to move on; it's the how we've handled it and stuff. I think that's a very, very fair comment, and I agree with what you're saying. Scott's saying he's not angry about the fee, but we should be in a position to ask for more because it's Spurs. Again, I think that's a fair fee. Fair comment. Aaron said it's reported it's 55 million before add-ons. Oh, bloody hell. I've just been big in the Athletic Cup. Who's that, Aaron? Is it Fabrizio Romano that's been saying that? Let me just get onto the old phone and see what Fabrizio Romano is saying, because I've seen some people saying Fabrizio Romano has done an update. So let's get that one while we're here. Let's see what the big man's saying. He has said, man alive, he tweets so much. So Mohammed Kudus didn't want to negotiate with any other club, only Spurs. Clear intentions, as revealed last week. Deal now done. Kudus will become a Tottenham player this week. Oh, his previous tweet said, deal in place for 55 million. Only wanted Tottenham. Bloody, I don't like reading this. Medical test book. All right, he's saying the same things. 55 million. So I haven't seen anyone saying the add-ons yet, but that's Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein saying the same thing now. 55 million. Billy's saying same price as Alanga. I think Alanga's a good player, though, by the way. I think that's a fair comparison. Faithful said he was going to Chelsea before he came to West Ham. Stepping stone was always part of his plan. Mark saying, oh, well, goodbye. Let's look forward to the season. Nothing changes in our way of running the club apart from the fans that bleed claret and blue and push forward. I just want to say a massive thank you to Jack for the £2 super chat saying, joke of a club. Watch him get the win against us. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I think that would tip us over the edge. But Jack, thank you very much. And a massive thank you to Billy as well, who's saying, sick of the club. We better spend now. I can't be arsed. And thank you for the £2 super chat, Billy. Very kind and helps the channel out. Benjamin saying the market dictates his price. He played crap last year and his price lowered. Still a profitable transfer. Adam saying after the last few seasons, may as well start supporting MK Dons. At least they're local to him. Chris Mills is saying awful business. Potter will only get 40 to spend. We won't get anyone better than that. Kudus the Judas. Ultra saying Kudus will do well at Tottenham. For one, Frank will play him in his best position. I think so as well. I think it's a good signing for Spurs. Iron saying this guy playing in crap lineups and positions, was talking to Moyes the season before. Lopetegui and Potter gave him play. He wants to play shot windowing a little bit. Chippy saying the problem is that Potter being our manager worth 20 million loss on Kudus' buyout price. Would it have been better to get a different manager? Don't know. I think it'd be better just saying to Graham Potter, get the best out of him. Peter saying it's too cheap. Aaron saying it's Jack. Thank you, Aaron. He's saying it's Jack Rosser that's saying it. Used to like Jack, but I think he writes for, I could be wrong, and apologies to Jack if so, but I think he writes for a certain publication now, which I'll be honest with you, I don't do it. It's not something I publicly declare, but I do my best to not ever look at anything that comes from that certain newspaper or speak about it or anything like that. Jamie saying Thomas Frank will make him his new Mbomo. Let's start spending now. Massive thank you to Jamie for the £5 super chat. I tell you what, I know it's unlikely, but could you want to be the most ambitious you want to be? You go to Brentford with the money now, don't you? And say Mbomo 62 million, was it? Yeah, let's get the checkbook out. 62. You want 62.5 from Man U, and they're not playing ball. You're 62.5 million from West Ham, and you get Brian Mbomo. I know it's not going to happen. I know he only wants Man U. I'm just trying to inject a little bit of fun. But Jamie, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Gary saying what pisses him off is he only wanted Spurs. I'm not arsed. I'm not arsed that he only wants to go to Spurs because we've tried to sell him so badly. This club have tried to put him up for sale as much as they could. And I think if you do that, I can't have any complaints about where a player wants to go at the end of it after being possibly made to feel unwelcome, unwanted, you're for sale. If he then goes, well, I'm going to go to Spurs, because to quote Jesse Lingard, show me the love and all that. If whilst we've been doing that, Spurs will be making their move, making him feel really wanted, saying, I come to Tottenham. oh, we've got Thomas Franks come in, we're going to play you on the right-hand side, blah, blah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If whilst we've been trying to get him out the door, Spurs have been trying to sell the Spurs thing to him, and he, in the end, he goes, oh, I really want to go there. I can't blame him at all. I just don't have it in. Oxby, thank you very much. £2 super chat says, do you think this opens the door for Guilherme? I hope so. I would like to think so. And Ross, thank you. Says, selling instead of putting money in. It's time to protest. Thank you. Thank you guys for the super chats. It helps the channel out. Appreciate it quite a lot. Adam saying that I've wrote that we've got a sale on Everything Must Go. Yeah, that's true. Not everything must go. Most things must go. If I wrote Everything Must Go, there's an Everything Must Go bit. We sold quite a few of it, so thank you. I'll be honest with. I'll be perfectly honest with you. There's something that I want to buy for Hammer's Chat, and we're going to be using the money from the shop to go get it. Hopefully, touch with it's a special item, and we've got a few special items now. We've got Antonio's England shirt, Noble's under-21 England shirt. We've got a few bits that are quite nice, and there's a bit that's quite nice that I want to get my hands on. We've got another shirt today, actually. Not that anyone's arsed right now because of what's going on, but we've got one of the special bits arrived. It's literally there. Anyway, right, we'll do another 5 minutes, see what you're all saying. I like reading what people are saying. If you haven't, please do drop a like on it. Click a thumbs up, Skyrim Hammer's Chat. Abu says, okay, positives. Guilherme can get more chances. We don't have European football, so let's stick with Guilherme and Bowen as our wingers and play youngsters such as Kadua and Guilherme. I think Kadua's gone or not going, Abu. But I appreciate what you're saying. One door closes, another door opens. Chris saying a few bad results, and this will be the end for the owners. In the words of the Leeds fans, I predict a riot. Wolf is saying the social media cockiness from Spurs fans is woeful. I hate it, but they're right. We've had our pants down. I've had someone on the channel, a Spurs fan on the channel, that keeps posting the same thing continuously in videos about how, like, oh, there isn't a rivalry between Spurs and West Ham. Why are you going on about it? And I'm like, your fans go on about it. And he's, no, they don't. Just look, you might not think there is one, but look at the Spurs fans. They beat us and they're bouncing up and down singing West. That's all right. It doesn't bother me. Likewise, us with them. I think rivals in football, it's a good thing. Peter saying he wanted Premier League football. No one else offered it. He'd have gone anywhere. The club are spreading rumour that he only wanted Spurs to give them an excuse for selling him on the cheap. I'm not so sure this comes from West Ham, personally. It's up to you. You believe what you want and all that, but I've never, ever seen... I know someone's going to say, oh, get Ornstein's what sits out your mouth and all that. I've never, ever seen David Ornstein as someone that puts out pro-West Ham stuff. Quite the opposite. He was one of those a year ago when it was all West Ham and PSR issues. He was one of those that sat there going, no, they don't. What are you on about? I don't see any problems. I've not heard anything, which tells you something. He's saying, I'm behind the scenes. I've not heard anything about West Ham having financial issues, but West Ham were telling everyone and anyone that would listen they've got financial issues. So to me, that suggests that David Ornstein doesn't speak to people at West Ham. I think he's got his information from either Tottenham or Kudus. Personally, I think that's where this information is coming from. But that's my opinion. Tech is saying, I'm not happy at the moment. I have anger towards the board, but ultimately we end up bringing in how we start will tell us. Yes, completely agree. If we were to go and invest the money wisely and bring players in, then fair. I think the problem is not too many people are confident, and I include myself. I don't think too many people are confident we will bring in players and replace Kudus well. Chris said, really disappointed. Just know he's going to score against us. He'll do well at Tottenham. Sullivan has no backbone. Rob is in agreement with myself. It's not Kudus' fault where he wanted to go. We made it obvious we wanted to sell him. Wish him all the best. Great loss for us. Jonathan saying, going off last season, Tottenham have bought a £20 million player for 55 million. Baker saying, why blame Kudus? I don't think some people are, I guess, but not for me. Brian, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. He said, like that guy at Tartan Geo, this is stinky. Yeah, do you know what? I will. I'm going to promote my own channel if you don't mind. I've got my own YouTube channel talking about football away from West Ham. and stinky's a phrase we're keeping. It was to describe Man United, really. I've decided I'm going to keep that phrase on Tartan Jail. And Brian saying this deal stinky. But it's called Tartan Jail. Links in the description below. Type it into YouTube, Tartan Jail. Got 4,000 subscribers. Going all right. Did a video on Simon and Drinker and Jordan Henderson going to Sunderland today. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really enjoying it. This is brilliant. Thank you. I thought someone would mention this. Greg is saying this channel is the most West Ham moment today. Started off with our new podcast, the Positivity Podcast. 7 things to be happy about. Frankie brought them to the table. By the end of the day, it's just bad news. That's West Ham for you. Love that. Thank you very much, Greg. That's brilliant. Oh, hammering. I love this. Go get Harvey Elliott. Oh, yes. 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 Big yes. My number one target. Get Harvey Elliott to the ball. Because hypothetically, would I have accepted Harvey Elliott and 15 million for Mohammed Kudus? Yes. Therefore, I'm with hammering here. Get Elliott to the ball. Won't all be forgiven, but unfortunately, we're never getting Harvey Elliott. But hammering, it was nice to think about it for a minute. Thank you. Bobby saying if he succeeds there, he will ask for a move higher abroad, and maybe Spurs fans will be saying the same that we are. What would hurt us is if he moves for 100 million. Well, this is where you've got to put clauses into that contract. You've got to put clauses in there. If you agree 55 million, get additional clauses put in on top of that, like the sell-on clause. So if he does go for big money, we make money off the back of it. But I think it's unlikely. Ray is saying Kudus leaving isn't a problem. It depends on who we buy. If we get top half, we'll say, oh, wow, but we're in relegation battle, then BS out. Agree with that one. Christian saying, do we think we would have got more money if Steiden or Director of Football was here? You would like to think we'd have a bit more spine about us. I think my issue with this is it feels early. It feels like we've gone early on this. I think, well, I say the issue. There's many issues I've got with this. But the thing at the minute right now is I feel like we've accepted this too early on, that we've not really waited to see if other clubs were going to come in for him. I guess Arsenal going for Madueke puts them out of it. I never really believed that. Newcastle's gone in for Alanga, takes them out of it. So I guess West Ham are probably running out of clubs to pretend that they want Mohammed Kudus. So maybe it is only Spurs. Maybe it's a one-horse race. So we're in a bit of trouble here. So let's take what we're offering or reject it. We might not be able to sell them because Kudus doesn't want to go to Saudi. And that's good. I think well done to Kudus for not wanting to go to Saudi. So it was only really Chelsea. They only really left Chelsea. And now UEFA basically told them you need to sell players for 60 million, which they're currently doing. But I feel like we've not really waited to see if Chelsea would come to the table. It just feels like we've just gone a little bit early on this one. Like I said, start of the week, we got told that Sullivan was laughing at Levy, saying, 50 million, get real, blah, 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 blah. 55 million. We've gone, yeah, right, deal. So I don't really feel like that was a good negotiating standpoint from us. But anyway, welcome to West Ham. Right, Stephen saying 55 million, so much for meeting the release clause, although that ends tomorrow without any release clause included in the sale, shows the incompetence of the owner. I guess that's possibly what they would suggest Tottenham, which is, well, good luck after this because there is no release clause, etc. Walsh is saying definitely early. I feel like if Chelsea won the Club World Cup, then they may have put a bid in. Well, I think they've got 85 million already, Chelsea, from the Club World Cup. JT saying, I thought he was in pre-season with us. He is. He's in training, JT. He's doing his own training because obviously it depends what you want to read. Certain people will tell you, oh, he doesn't want to train. He wants to leave, so he's doing his own training in the gym. Or it could be that, a bit like what Slavia Prague are currently doing, which is West Ham said, do not put him out there and risk him get injured. Protect him. Let him do training in his own way, out the way. Don't get him injured because we need to sell him. I believe the latter. So if I ever see a story about how Kudus doesn't want to train or anything, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I believe that we've probably instructed Potter and the coaching staff, which is keep him separate, not just him. We're trying to sell these players. Do not get them injured. Keep them away from the rest of the group, which you could argue it's a savvy thing to do. At the end of the day, it's still business. It's an asset. You've got to protect it. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with keep them separate because we're trying to sell them. What I have an issue with is the leaks coming out, which is, Kudus wants to doesn't want to train with the main group. I've seen this all before with this board. Anytime a player leaves, they go on this massive media surge of control the narrative and batter that player down. Turn the fans against that player, turn the fans against them. So when we sell them, we look like we've got rid of a bad egg, and I ain't buying it. I'm not having it. That's my interpretation of it. And no one will change my mind. No, maybe David Ornstein. All joking aside, nothing will change my mind on that one. And Craig saying 50 million. It was 40. It was 40 million for Kilman. The club inflate the transfer fees enough, Craig. We don't need to do it. But Craig's point is 40 million for Kilman, 50 million more for Kudus. This is how bad we are at negotiations. But it was 40. And we'll leave the club to pretend that Kudus was 100 million and Todibo was 150 million. We'll let them do that thing. Right then, a couple more. Charles just said something about there you go. Charles says Sullivan got quite outline about the price. Yeah, he did. 27 million we got told, and turns out it was 18. Depends if you want to believe David Sullivan in the leaks, or do you want to believe Tim Steidten? Choose your fighter. One saying 27 and another one saying 18. I'm Team Tim, right? I will nail my colours to the mast right now. Before I leave, let me just Team Tim and Mo. There we go. Yeah, Team Tim and Team Mo. That's me. I don't believe the leaks. Proud NITK. That badge was in the bin, but there you go. Charles believes Tim as well. Here you are. Charles, this is for you. Sent it over to you. Should be with you in a couple of weeks. Sent it via pigeon, which is the same method as how David Sullivan bids for players. Right then, Liam saying we sold our technically our second best right winger, so it doesn't even seem that bad. It's our first choice left winger though. Like, I appreciate he shouldn't be the first choice left winger, but he is. Collins, Team Tim. Oh, right. Hang on. This one's for you. Team Tim. Colin. There you are, Colin. This one's for you. There you are, Colin. Your badge will be with you in a couple of weeks. Get it on. Send me a pic. Team Tim. Be you and Troj. 3 of us now. It's getting bigger. There was nobody in it 10 minutes ago. We're growing. I've recruited more people for Team Tim than what David Sullivan has for West Ham United. And he's had ages. He's had since the start of June. A month and a third Sullivan's had. Nobody. AD's Team Tim. Yeah. Team Tim. AD, there you go. Here, that's for you, AD, Team Tim. Off you go. I'm going to have to pick all these up. No more Team Tims, because I've got to pick all these up and put them in the bin. But there you go. Right, to be fair, Andy said it hit him on the head. I remember Jeremy Kyle. Right, I'm going to leave you with this random story, which is completely irrelevant, but it's just funny. I remember when Jeremy Kyle was a thing, and the headline was Jeremy Kyle attacked on stage. I thought, I'm having a bit of this. I'm expecting someone's finally lynched him. You know, the DNA tests come back. You're not the dada. And the mum's going, yeah, he is. Promise you I've not slept with anyone. That is wrong. The DNA test is wrong. I thought maybe Dada got up and lynched Jeremy Kyle. It was going to happen at some point, right? So the headline was Jeremy Kyle attacked on stage. I thought, brilliant. Can't wait for this. Do you know his bit of card with the DNA test? He gave it to someone and he threw it and it brushed Jeremy Kyle. But that was the headline. Jeremy Kyle attacked. So anyway, I've just attacked Andy Walsh on the Jeremy Kyle stage. Right, a couple more comments and I'm going to disappear. Morgan saying, did we see? I did see the report. I think it's sensationalized because if you go and have a look at the finances from the latest accounting period, which came out in December, which is up until the end of the 31st of May 2024, in there it says we have to pay back a £40 million. We've got a 40 million overdraft with Barclays Bank that needs to be paid in this month, July 2025. But it also goes on to say we are likely to just extend our borrowing. It literally says in there, well, it doesn't say this. it virtually says in there, don't worry about it. We're just going to extend the border. West Ham do this every year. They do short-term stuff every year. I don't think there's anything to see here. Personally, I think they'll just refinance it as they always do. They'll just borrow, rob Peter to pay Paul. I don't think it's an issue. I think the Kudus thing, do I think he will spend all 55 million to keep it simple and go with net transfer spend? No, but I think we'll spend most of it. That's my thoughts. And Joe's saying it's got to be. It's not. David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano. There you go, JT. David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano. Two people I think is the most reliable when it comes to transfer stuff. Are both reporting the exact same thing, which is he's having his medical tomorrow at Spurs. So by maybe Friday, Mohammed Kudus will be a Tottenham player, and Sullivan will have finally sold Mohammed Kudus, which is something he's been trying to do for months, but just days after telling Spurs to get real for 50 million, just accepted the bid for 55 million. Anyway, I'm off. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate the support. Love the support. It keeps me happy. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow. But before you go, drop a like on it. Scouting Damage Chat. I'll see you in a bit.